My family has always been entrepreneur. My dad, I didn't grow up knowing my dad as a salary person. He's always been doing one business or the other, whether supplying to the government or running his own boutique business or thereabout. And my family is always talk about business. And I remember when I was growing up, because I see the risk of the business my dad is going to, some failed, lose money, and the headache. I used to tell my mom that I don't want to go into business. I told my mom, I don't want to go into business. I don't want to borrow money because I see that the way you have to look for capital from banks or whatever. So I don't want to go into that. I would rather be a medical doctor. That's why I told my mom, I would rather be a medical doctor or go into academic. I don't want to go into business. So I see my brother as well, and one of my sisters always going into one thing. They always do some, even though when they're having full-time job, they're always doing some part-time businesses. That's usual. And I've always done want to do that. And they know me and my family as the academic one, the one that we pick an academic. We just want to keep his head down, hand salary, live a good life, and not go into risk. So I always thought myself as that. However, I have a streak of adventure. I'm an adventurous person. I hate boredom. I hate things to just be if things are going like that, which is for some people it's okay, I don't like it. I prefer it to be like that. I might end up there, but this is more interesting than that to me. So I'm very adventurous. So my first business was in 1999/2000. Actually, it was around 1998 or 99. No, 99. There was internet was just becoming big in Nigeria. People were just having access to the internet. Cyber cafes were popping up there and there. Very, very few people have email. They don't even know what email is. I was an undergrad, and I got my first email around 98, so there about 99, and I discovered the ease of communicating to someone in the US and the person replying back to me. Immediately, I said, this is amazing. And I said, I want to tell everyone about it. Because I asked my friends, none of most of them don't know about it. So, and I spoke to a few of my friends that know about it, the guys that I know that are into the internet stuff. One of them has a computer. So let's have a seminar. Let's just have a seminar and teach people all about the internet and open email for them. Let's call it net effect and just teach them. So we went online, we read everything about the history of internet. What is a computer? How does computer, what is internet? How does internet fit in and how you can use email? How can you open email and other stuff? And then we just create a program and we advertise it. We set it up in Lagos, in Yaba College of Technology. We advertise it on newspaper. And we knew it's going to cost us some money. So that was my first business. So I went to my dad. There were 4 of us wanted to do this as a venture. I went to my dad and I told him, and I said, we calculated how much we were on this, 20,000 naira, I remember. 20,000 naira, 4 of us. So all of us would contribute 5,000 each to do this, and then we organize a program. I went to him and said, can you lend me 5,000 and I will give you back because I know I'm going to make profit. That was my first business. My dad was my first person that invested in me. And he just, actually, I think he gave me that money thinking I'm going to lose it. He's just happy that I want to do something. So he gave me 5,000 naira. We did it, we did the program in Yabate. We advertised in the newspaper. We got over 200 people come to it. They paid, I think, maybe 500 naira, whatever. We made money, but a lot of our profit went to booking the venue because the student union Yabate fleeced us. They took a lot of our profit. But it was exciting. I love it. The buzz, the excitement, the adventure of doing something. So that was my first business. And then towards the end of my undergrad, I started a business with a few of my colleagues that we did this stuff together. And we started, we'll call it, I think it's a technology startup. But basically, we help people set up cyber cafe. A lot of people have money, they want to set up cyber cafe. They don't know how to do networking, how to set it up, what is an ISP, all that stuff. So we just help them set it up. And we run it for them. So I was running, so when towards the end of my study, I was running a cyber cafe. We helped them run it, we charged them money for it. And that was the business. We also helped people set up website. But then shortly after that, I traveled to the UK to do my master's. And one of my other colleagues also, there are 5 of us, The other one also got admission to US. He went to US, left with 3, and one died, unfortunately, and the other one wasn't serious. So the company still exists in a way, with one of the other guys who was running it. But I think he's left now. He's now a missionary in Gambia. So my first business was just disappeared because 5 of us just got involved in different things. So I came to the UK. I did a BSc. I'm a scientist by training. I studied environmental management. I did BSc in Nigeria, did MSc in London, and I got a scholarship to do PhD in Bristol at UA. And after my PhD, my normal trend, my normal trajectory should be academic. So I started doing postdoctoral fellowship at the university, which you might be doing as well if you want to. It seems to be the normal path. If you finish your PhD or if your supervisor likes you and there's a money lying somewhere, your employee, just continue to do that research. Because while I was doing that things got interesting. While I was doing my PhD was very interesting because I had control of my time. I was working 7 days a week. I was always doing works on weekend. So I have a big project that I need to complete in 3 years and a lot of milestones in between. After my PhD, when I submitted, it was like an anticlimax. I started working 9 to 5. I'm not used to that. And weekend becomes boring because all I just do was just watch TV and just do nothing. So I said, I'm going to look for a part-time job. So I got a part-time job, and I was something interesting. I was doing delivery driving for a restaurant, and I discovered that the restaurant I was doing it in the evening, 3 days a week. Just after I go to the university, after my job, do some lecturing or research, I just can do delivery in the evening for about 5 hours, 4 or 5 hours. But these restaurants, they're like posh restaurants. They don't do a lot of deliveries. And I found that I just sat down there, I'll do 4 deliveries a night, and I'm just reading. So I calculated, they're paying their drivers, including me, about 40% of the food that of the food bill for delivery drivers. So they're paying us like £6 an hour. We do like four deliveries. Each one is about £25. And they pay about 20 or 25 per night. Sometimes 2 drivers. Right? And then shortly after that, they asked me if I want to do more hours, more days. I said no, but I can help you. Give me 7 days. I will hire a driver, and then you pay me, and I'll pay the drivers. So I started running the delivery fleet for that. Because I have about 2 or 3 restaurants. So I started doing that. So actually, I can manage more restaurants. So I called another restaurant. So I saw an advert. The restaurant says they're looking for a driver. So I called them and said, yes, I don't want to apply, but I can help you solve your driving problem. I will supply drivers to you. What you just do, whenever you have an order, call me and I'll send a driver to come pick you up. So you pay per order. They loved it. Wow, this is good. They don't have to worry about hiring a driver. They just pay per order. If they don't have any deliveries, they don't have a driver just sat down there. That was amazing. So we started doing that. It was basically fun. And then shortly after that, actually, I can manage the whole thing end to end. I can have a website where people can order takeaway. When they order, I will send my driver will go and collect from the restaurant and we deliver instead of the restaurant calling me when they have delivery, because then they're not controlling the time. They're paying us. We're making like we're getting like £500 per week from the restaurant, and I use most of it to pay the drivers. I was making some money. So actually, I can control this whole thing if I have a website, and that's how I started. So I have a website. And I started it was actually called Food Couriers. I raised some money from friends, and the intention was I'm just going to run this. We had this projection, this big business plan. We're going to make some money if you have 20 or 30 orders, blah, blah. But it didn't work that way. I spent most of the money on marketing because I had no idea of how to run a business. When I was running out of money, because I didn't know how to run it. I discovered somebody. I went online actually. I was looking for investors. So I saw a company based in Birmingham actually. It's called Whisk. And one of the investors, one of the guys invested in the company, and they raised some money, about £200,000. And I saw one of the investors, and I just looked at him and Googled him and discovered that he has a company where he does some investing. So I applied. I said, I need investment. This is what we're doing in Bristol. We're doing delivery for a restaurant. We have about, at that point, we have about 10 restaurants. We're making this money, but we're running out of money. And he replied with two lines. He said, your business is rubbish. It's going to fail. Justice is going to crush you. Something like that. And I saw it. I said, I could do two things. I could just leave it, get to check this actually is true. We're not making this business is not going to fly because I don't know how to run it. It's a technology business. I don't have the tech. I don't even know the driver is we're not making. Or I could argue because I have a PhD. I could argue. So I decided to argue with him. So I sent him 10 reasons why it's wrong. He said, my business is different from just I wrote 10 reasons why it's wrong. And the last reason was, even if it's not going to work, it's not in your place to tell me that it's going to fail because you're not the one doing it. That's what I said. I wasn't expecting him to write back. And he replied, he said, this is interesting, let's meet up. And that changes everything. Because when I met him, he became my first investor. He told me right then and there, said, what do you need? Initially, my company was, when I raised money, I raised a valuation of about £100,000. And he said, that's too low. What you've done is more than that. I'm going to get you £50,000 to prove it, and then I'm going to introduce you to my friend. And I met him in London. And before I got to the station, he sent 3 emails to his friends. And they go back and say, yeah, let's meet up. This is interesting. And that was it. That was the beginning of us raising investor money. He's the one that runs Potential VC, and I work with him. He's an amazing guy. He's a crazy guy, but he's an amazing guy. But that's my story. That's how I got to where I am today. I've changed business models several times. We were doing marketplace, now we're looking at doing enterprise solution. We've not proven anything yet with meals. I wouldn't say I'm a successful entrepreneur. I'm not. I'm still trying to understand what it means to run a successful business. We've raised over £600,000. We've not raised as much as we wanted to raise. I've managed a team of people. I've won an award as an entrepreneur in Bristol. I've been interviewed by press and blah, blah, and people love my story, and academic, become an entrepreneur. But there's still a lot of things for me to do. And I'm still on a journey. Part of the journey I will share with you today. Part of the things I've learned, I'll share with you today. But I don't think I'm a repertoire of knowledge. I don't know it all. I don't know anything. So there's something I'll tell you today that just feel free to discount them. Because they might not apply to you, or they might even be stupid. Because I'm in a journey as well. And I will learn as we go along. But the whole idea is to learn and is to grow as an entrepreneur. So, I've said the title is Don't Go After Money. When you want to start a business, there are a lot of things that you have to really, really think about, and a lot of choices that you have to make. One of the greatest challenge of any business person as an entrepreneur is focus. You will always have to make that decision to focus. That is your greatest, actually, it's your greatest opportunity and your greatest liability. And if you don't focus, you're going to lose out. Sometimes if you focus on the wrong thing, you're going to lose that as well. So focusing is very important. And there are lots of decisions you have to make before you start a business and while you're at it. In my office, I'm very, very privileged to have a guy that's been working with me since we started. He started working with me since year 2. When he was in year 2, now he's been working for the past years. General manager. He's an amazing guy. And every time he receives me as a person that's always all over the place, but he's very calm and he likes it and he can make good decisions. And when I'm in the office, my job is to be the moral compass of the team and say, this is what we're going to do, and to make that decision for the team. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to focus on this. This one looks good. Yeah, we should be delivering. We should be delivering for Tesco. It's good, but we can't. We're not going to do that. We're going to food. That's what we're going to do today. That's what we're going to do for the next 2 years. That's what we're going to do for the next 3 years. This one looks like a good opportunity. It looks nice. It looks great, but we're not going to do it. So that ability to focus is very important. So while you're about to start, there are a few things, there are many dilemmas you're going to face, but I like some of them. One is, you have to make a decision whether you want to create wealth or you want to have control. Now, when I mean wealth, it's not just going after money, but wealth, I think, do you want to create a big value business or you want to have control? So the difference between that is the difference between your corner shop and Tesco or Sainsbury's. Okay, the guy that runs his corner shop, he has control over it. The guy can shut down the corner shop anytime. He's the king of the corner shop. He runs it. It's what we call lifestyle business, and he's still he's fulfilling purpose there. But the guys that started Sainsbury's, they lost control of Sainsbury's, but they've created wealth. Over time, they make Sainsbury's, they got investors into Sainsbury's, and Sainsbury's is now a public company, and the family will still have some shares, but they cannot decide to close Sainsbury's. They cannot say, now, we're not going to shop every Sunday anymore. But the guy that has a shop can decide to say, I don't want to work on Sunday. So you need to make a decision whether your business is going to be, whether you want to be a king or you want to be wealthy. And most of the time, a king business is small because it's always in your capacities. And that's a little difference between being a freelancer and an entrepreneur. A freelancer is a person that's just selling his time. And so, let's say, Tosin is selling his time as an HR specialist. And he can decide to take a client or not. Charge £1,000 per day. But there's a limit to that. You can only sell 365 days a year. No matter how successful you are, you can only sell 365 days a year if you work every day of the year. But if you're an entrepreneur, then you can commoditize it, and it's actually, I'm going to create a product out of this. And when you create a product that can sell millions, you can be in a beach, you can be in Ibiza, in a club, and your product is still making money because we commoditize it. Do you understand that? Now, to make that decision, you have to start from the beginning and say, what do I want to do? So for me, when I started Nails, initially, I thought it's just going to be a business that would just grow in Bristol. But when I met with my first external investor, he opened my eyes and said, actually, one of the emails sent to me said, Dotun, think big. And that's a big thing for anyone to say. Because people like this, I should think big. But for someone to tell me that, he says, let's think big because this thing can scale. And so that changes the DNA of our business. How do I structure the business so that it can scale? How do I structure it so that it can be, I'll have investment, I'll make it grow fast, and I'll make it grow well. And those are the things I made from the beginning. I make sure that I don't want to have control. It's not about control. I would rather have 10% of £200 million business than 100% of £500,000 business. It's a huge difference. Huge. About 10% of a £200 million business, that's £20 million. About 100% of a £500,000 business, they're not even able to sell. It's nothing. So you need to make that decision. However, all these things, I will tell you what I made, but then a decision that I made, but there is no fast rule to this. There's no easy answer. It all depends on you and what you really want to achieve. There is no better one. So you can have control. Dangote started it. Dangote is the richest black man in the world, has control of his business. And you can have that. Whereas Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, does not have control. He has a bit of control, but he created wealth. And the company grew so fast. And then he had to get investors to change it. It's not the alpha and omega of his business. He can be sacked tomorrow by the board. He can be removed. So it's most unlikely they can be removed. So that's the other thing you have to make is decide whether you want to grow organically or you want to scale fast. Now, organically is you want to grow slowly. So you have a business. Let's say you have a business selling bag. You're selling that bag, and then you say, okay, I've discovered my customers. They're based in Birmingham. They are Chinese students in Birmingham because they like that kind of bag. Now, you can decide, actually, I'm going to focus in Birmingham to the Chinese student in Birmingham. So I'm going to go to all the Chinese student meetings. I'm going to network with all the Chinese association. I'm going to be Facebook friends to all of them. I'm going to grow this organically and through word of mouth. You could do that, and that will enable you to create some wealth and some value for yourself. Or you can say, actually, I know how to make this bag. I know Chinese students love it. How many Chinese students are in the UK? Loads. How can I get all the Chinese students in the UK? If Chinese students in the UK love this, surely the ones in America, the ones in Europe will love it as well. So how do I get them? How do I get all of them? How do we create a big funnel that will just attract them to buy this bag? And how do I get there fast as possible, within 6 months, and get all of them to buy this? So talk about distribution, marketing, acquisition, and stuff like that. They start spending a lot of money to acquire them. So you need to make that decision, whether you want to scale fast. There's some business that tend to do well if they grow organically, and there's some that do well only if they scale very fast. You also need to make sure whether you want to raise money or you want to bootstrap. Bootstrap means you want to spend your own money, or it doesn't have to be your own money only, or the customer's money. So you make it from the profit you're making, and a lot of businesses grow this way. Actually, most businesses are bootstrapped. Most businesses are done. It's not all businesses like Facebook that raise lots of money and grow very fast. Most businesses are bootstrapped. You sell 10, you make profit, you buy 15 more, you make profit, and you grow like that. But you have to make a decision whether you want to bootstrap or you want to. So it's not all businesses that need investment. There's some businesses you can do without investment. Even software startup businesses. It's a myth to think that you need to raise money for all your businesses. You need to make a decision about that as well. You also need to decide whether you want to go solo or you want to have a founding team. Most startup businesses that grow really fast, high growth businesses, most of them tend to have a founding team because solo founders businesses fail. The failure rate of solo founder businesses is high. And the reason is because startup is hard. Business is hard, simple. You hear the success story of this business make lots of money, or this business was sold for it. You need to go back to you need to go to the backstage and listen to the real story, the lonely nights of and the downs and the depression and a lot of things that happen. And if you don't have somebody that you have that journey with, that can share that burden with you, it can be really, really hectic and it can be really, really tough. So you need to decide whether you want to do it solo. Because if you do it solo, you can make money for yourself, but you can be the ad as well. So you need to decide whether you want to have somebody to complement your team, to complement yourself. And most of the success stories that we hear about in startup world, by the way, when I talk about business, most of the time I'm talking about software-driven, technology-driven startup, because that's my background. Most of them are founding team. That's one of the things that my investors told me before they invested. So I need to get a co-founder. I approached one, my friend, who we know for a long time. You need to get a co-founding team that complements your skills as well. I'm a business person. I'm a business development person. I talk. I meet lots of people. I like meetings. My co-founder is a tech person. He is a coder. He just like coding and doing tech. You need to decide whether you want to play safe or disrupt. And what I mean by disrupt is that do you want to create a new business that changes the model, the existing model, or you want to actually play safe by looking at the existing model and try to grow that? So let's say this is the way they sell this iPhone. Okay, a good example is iPhone. So before iPhone came out, there are loads and loads of smartphones by then. BlackBerry was reigning, and there was another phone I was using then. It's a Windows phone. Forgotten it. This big and used stylus. You remember those phones that you use stylus?
HTC.
Yeah, loads of them. And then there were smartphones as well. But when Apple decided to enter into the market, they did a typical disruption. So rather than just going through the route of, because before Apple came to the market, nobody think that anybody wants to be using their hand to type. It just looked horrible. But they decided to go. They said, the first time I saw an iPhone, I said, I'm not going to use this because I'm going to miss it. I can't use my hand to type on the phone. It's big. But they pulled it off. It changed the game totally. The same with Yahoo and Google. Before Google came to the stage, Yahoo was reigning. Yahoo was the king. They're the king of display ad. So the way Yahoo makes its money is you give you free email. You always go to that email. But you remember when you go to those emails, then you see adverts. You always see display adverts. Yahoo makes money by going to companies, Coca-Cola, Pepsi. Say, the internet is the next TV. Instead of putting money on the internet, put it on, because we're going to display your ad. So they sell what they call eyeballs. They sell people looking at it. And they were ready. They were number one. But Google said, we're going to change. We're not going to compete with them in that space. We're going to change the level. We're going to change the ground. We're going to change the playground. Instead of going to play with them on that place, no, we're going to move the field into another place. And they come with an algorithm that ranks websites based on their authority and their links to other websites. So this is the way. Then we're going to do what we call search-based ad. So people are looking for a product. So I'm looking for a TV. You search for a TV, and you as an advertiser, you will pay money so that your website will come to the front above everyone. Now, nobody else thought of that before. And it's actually, you can even come there organically if your link is stronger and if you've done SEO and done good things well. 3 minutes. Wow. I've not even started yet. Okay, so they changed the level playing ground. So you need to decide whether you want to sell your bag, so you look about your bag, the way everybody else is selling it, or you actually want to change the game. You need to decide whether you want to do enterprise or consumer product. Enterprise, you're selling to businesses. Consumer, you're selling to consumers, basically. The other thing you want to decide whether you want to do part-time, you want to run it part-time or dive in. I always say that if you believe in your vision and your product, do it full-time. Part-time product really successful. People really give you attention to it as it is needed. However, circumstances might determine that you have to do it part-time for a long time. So what is a startup? I think I'll do this before we break. This definition of startup, there are two actually that I love. There are lots of definitions of startup, but there are two that I love most. And this one, it's a company that is working to solve a problem where the solution is not obvious and success is not guaranteed. That is a tip, because startup is not just a normal business. Buying iPhone for £2 and selling for £10. It's a model that is proven. That's not a startup. That's just a business. A startup is, there is a problem. I don't know the solution to it, but I'm going to work out how to create a solution to it. That's my hypothesis. People want to have this problem solved in this way. And I'm going to create a product to prove that. And success is not guaranteed. Actually, 8 out of 10 startups fail. So investors say, I work in an investment company now. We know that 8 out of the 10 companies that we fund, we fail. We know that. One might be a bit successful, and one will be stupendously successful, and it will pay for all the money that we've lost in the other 8 or 9 months. That's how venture capitalism works. The other definition is startup is an organization designed to search for a repeatable, scalable business model. Once that business model has been discovered, then it's no longer a startup. So a great example is Just Eat. It's no longer a startup because they've found the business model. It works. And now they can just scale it and become big, and they're making money now. But when they started 15 years ago, people don't know that you want to order takeaway online. People want to be calling their takeaway. Say, it was an unproven business model. Say, do people actually want to go online and see the menu and click and pay online and hope for the food to come to them? It's a very risky business model, but it proved it. So that's an entrepreneurial startup. When we come back, I'm going to go through life cycle of startups, what you need to do when you want to start. We're going to go through the idea stage. We're going to go through how to validate your idea, how to move from idea to start something, how to grow. And then I'll go through some examples of companies that have done it, maybe say some stories that we're going to love, and then hopefully we might have some time for questions. Thank you very much.